In this episode of Brainpower, we are going to talk about prompt chains. Hello, friends. It's Josh. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we are going to have a discussion about prompt chains and exactly what they are. Now, before we get rolling, if you want to follow along and do these prompts with me, remember that you can head on over to my website /Brainpower. Scroll on down, and here is today's episode. If I can actually get it in the window here. There it is, episode 20. Just go ahead and hit the download file button, and you are off and running. It's going to look something like this as I mute my phone. I'm so sorry. That's why I need a checklist before I do these lives. So you'll be able to go in and take these prompts and do them one at a time. And we have two sequences here. We have what I call domain knowledge, going all the way out to a video script and a storyboard. And then we're going to take a look at another one that is an email sequence. All right. So go ahead and, again, head on over to joshcavalier.com/brainpower. Download that, prompt along with me. Let's have some fun. Let's get into it. So with that, one more thing that you'll want to take advantage of. All right. And here, 250 prompts for learning and development. I'm going to be using some of the prompts from this repository. If you want access to it, follow that URL down below. Fill in the form, follow the directions, get access, and you can borrow some of the prompts that are in there. All right, my friends. With that, let's finally get into the topic of prompt chains. Let's get rid of that. So before we get into it and start prompting, I do want to go in and discuss the context window and tokens, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. It is important when we are talking about working within the same window. So when you go into ChatGPT and you place your cursor inside the message box, that is the context window. Every time that you type in a word or words, those are converted into tokens. And the formula that we use is every token is equal to 0.75 words. So let's say that we have access to Google Gemini 1.5 Pro, which has a 1 million token window. That's 750,000 words that you can put in there, easily fitting War and Peace into the whole entire prompt if you wanted to, which is pretty amazing. The context window, as I mentioned before, if you take your cursor and place it inside that message box, that is the context window. And every model has a token limit. When we're talking about, and as of this recording, GPT-4 or 4.0, we have 128,000 token limit. If we go over to Anthropic Claude Opus, 200,000 token limit. And as I mentioned with Gemini 1.5 Pro, 1 million. What we want to do when we're having a conversation where we are using multiple prompts is to go in and maintain the context. When you input a prompt and there is a response, that input and that response directly impacts the probability of future results coming back from the model. Okay, extremely important. And then also, you know, all those tokens and all the responses coming back, we want to make sure that we hone in and get the words right. And you're going to see that. I'm going to go in and we're going to prompt together and check this out as we build our responses into, and we're going to be using Chat GPT today. All right. So with the prompt chain, it's as you would expect. You're going to go in and start with an initial prompt, and what you put in there initially actually is really important. And you'll see that with our first chain. And you get a result, you do another prompt, another result comes back, and you continue, right? So the idea is that, through this process, you'll start with a really good prompt. That's the idea. So there are techniques for getting great information back and starting this process. One is we can go in and start with a great format to a prompt. Role, the task, and instructions, right? I'm going to put a little twist on it here today, though, and start with domain knowledge, like getting a result from the model that explains the topic and then getting into the transformations that I want from that point. So then once we go in, we have a great first prompt. We then prompt again to get transformations or follow workflows that are then tuned to the context of the conversation. What I mean by tuned is that the results coming back and your prompts going in directly impact the probability of the results, future results, right? And we want to do deep work. I'd rather go ahead and get results coming back at 80 or 90% completion than 50% every single time. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. And we'll continue creating prompts, getting the results that we need. And today we're going to be going from domain knowledge into various learning outputs, and then also taking a look at an email sequence. There are limitations, though. Once you hit that upper limit, you get weirdness that happens. You'll even get an error message. So the context window is finite. Now, what I've found is that I typically will go in and do short, focused work in Chat GPT. That's my current model I go to. GPT 4.0. I'm in there all the time doing short, focused work. It may be 1 or 2 prompts. It could be 5 or 6, depending upon what I'm working on. But I'm done after that, right? Just because I have gotten to the point where my first prompt or second prompt are so focused, I know exactly what I'm looking for, either through tone of voice or format or whatever the case may be, and I'm getting really solid results. But again, there are times when I need to do deep work or transformational workflows to get multiple outputs, and that's when I prompt chain. You could lose context. Now, as context windows get larger and the engineering gets better, there's not so much, this type of activity happening, right? So, one thing to keep in mind is there are tests that are out there to see if a model can find the needle in the haystack. And the way that this test works is you can take a whole novel, let's say Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath, and in that novel, you put in the middle somewhere a description of a spaceship. And you ask the model, hey, does something look odd about this? And within the whole book. And the idea or the measurement is if the model can actually pull that description of that spaceship or that UFO. Pretty wild, right? And that's all within this giant context. And it kind of shows you the power of the transformer and what it can do with large amounts of text. It's pretty impressive. But keep in mind that once you start reaching the limit, and when I first started working in Chat GPT and prompting, I was hitting that limit. right? And it would error out. And so the error would look something like this. This model's maximum content length is X. Please reduce your prompt or completion length. And it would come up in red, right? And be like, oh, okay, I'll just start a new conversation. Okay, so some ideas around chaining. Again, you want to analyze your workflows. And today we're going to take a look at an email sequence. And we're going to start with, this domain knowledge. This is the second chain, or I'm sorry, the first chain we're going to do. The second will be the email sequence. I got those backwards. Apologize. So we're going to start with domain knowledge and then transform it into learning content. And then we'll do the email sequence. Okay. I want to keep it in order with the download sheet that you have. Some other ideas as far as prompt chaining includes having a conversation to solve a problem, right? It's not all about like learning content um, and those types of tasks. I mean, it's great for that, but also remember that you can have deep conversations with the model with, I don't know, maybe one of your favorite learning luminaries like Benjamin Bloom or Robert Gagne, right? And you're asking Benjamin Bloom about how he would apply his taxonomy to a learning journey on a specific topic. Give it a shot. It's actually pretty wild what comes back. Or you can upload data, do analysis on that data, and then prompt chain to work with that analysis. There's so many ideas here. All right. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and jump in. And we are going to start with ChatGPT. And you can use whatever language model you want here today. And the first chain that we're going to do is going to be this domain knowledge to learning objectives to video to storyboard. And I'm going to just take a moment and just talk about this. Typically when we are prompting and we're trying to do initial work, right? So we want to go in and we want to have a really good first prompt. We typically say something to the effect of act like an instructional designer, create 10 multiple choice questions on how to cook a smoked potato salad, and then the format of the multiple choice questions, right? Which is fine. But one technique that I've used that seems to help within the context window is first ask ChatGPT or whatever model you're using about its domain knowledge in that area, much in the same way that you would interview a subject matter expert about what that person knows about a task or an area of knowledge. Ask the model. And what that's going to do is put all of those words within that domain in the context window, and then you can start working with it. Okay. As opposed to, using a one-shot prompt or a zero-shot prompt and going in there and just saying, hey, create this content based upon this area. You're kind of like priming the pump. Okay. So let's go ahead and try it. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to start with this first prompt. Again, you can copy it from the worksheet and place it in there with me. And so I have in here, let me just zoom in out real quick. Act as a barbecue pit master. And as of this recording, it's Memorial Day weekend, and this is what I'm doing this weekend. I wish I could invite you to come on over and have some barbecue with me, including the smoked potato salad. Describe for me in full detail everything you know about how to cook a smoked potato salad. So let's just break that down real quick. Act as a barbecue pit master just by going in and setting the role. Anything and everything having to do with the role of a barbecue pit master comes into play. Everything, right? So the probability of words related to that role comes in. Describe for me in full detail everything you know about how to cook a smoked potato salad. And there it is. So that is going to be the first prompt here. And we are kind of priming the pump, right? We're getting that domain knowledge into the context window. And so here we go. Sure thing. Let's go. Let's dive into creating the smoked potato salad. Boom. We got ingredients. We got equipment. We have steps. Who knows? Maybe I'll follow this recipe this weekend. I love it. And we got tips in here. Excellent. So, now I can go in and start working with this depending upon, again, what my goals are. So I've established the domain knowledge. Now I want to go in and start working with it as an instructional designer. So I'm going to go to prompt number 2. This is going to be on our prompt chain here. Let's go ahead and paste that in. Let me zoom in on it so you can see it. Act as an instructional designer, create learning objectives on how to cook a smoked potato salad. Again, I restate the task. I want to remain focused in on that. Learning objectives are only one sentence and must use the SMART format. Let's unpack that for a moment because there's a few things going on here. Notice that I've capitalized only and must. Capitalization or all caps is like shouting at ChatGPT. Yep, it works. Even within the system prompts in ChatGPT, and a system prompt is like a prompt that OpenAI uses to control the outputs coming back. It uses all caps. So when you really want to emphasize something and you want to make sure that you're clear to ChatGPT on the output, go ahead and use all caps. Experiment with it. Now, the SMART format is a structure for a learning objective. It begins with specific, measurable, and so on. So I'm just throwing that in there. Well, let's give it a shot here, and let's see if we get some good learning objectives. And there's the this is the thing about doing things live. A network error. People love this 4.0 model, let me tell you. And they're using the heck out of it right now. It's funny is I was looking for one sentence. Learning objectives are only one sentence and must use a SMART format. So it's like kind of doing it, but I really just want sentences as opposed to a sentence for one of each of these. So, that's when you look at this is when you re-roll the dice, or you'll go in and redo the prompt to be clearer about how it, again, maybe it's just the wording. I need to change the last sentence to be direct about the one sentence. Anyways, I'm just going to re-roll, redo it, and hopefully I get my learning objectives here. It's funny. When I was practicing this earlier, it was just knocking these learning objectives out, and now there we go. All right. That's what I was looking for. Learning objectives like that. We're just going to roll with it there. And again, I probably should go back and change the prompt, but again, for what we're doing here today, this is just fine. I have learning objectives I can work with. Okay, which one are we going to create a video script? Right? So let's see. Let's talk about smoking the potatoes. Learning objective number 2. So now I'm going to chain this prompt. And I'm going to go down to the next prompt. And if you look at this prompt inside of your worksheet, this is how you create an educational video. Now, before I started talking about AI years ago, I was talking about educational video for a good 5 or 6 years. And this little formula here, this is a great prompt for an educational video. It's got everything you need as far as the hook, the priming statement, content, the reflection, call to action at the end. It's all there, even in kind of a YouTube format, right? All we have to do is go in and swap out the topic. So where the brackets are at that says topic, I'm going to scroll up to the top, and my topic is how to cook a smoked potato salad, right? Let's go back down to the bottom, paste that right there. There's my topic. I don't have to do anything else. This prompt is ready to rock. And again, as I mentioned before, all the prompts you put in, all the results that come back, like all of these words here, directly impact the probability of certain words coming back to you in future results, right? So the idea is, like, for instance, in here, there's mention of, let's see, where are the potatoes? Yeah. Small red or Yukon Gold potatoes. Now let's see if in the video script, if those potatoes are mentioned. I hope they I hope they will be. We'll see. Well, I'm going to go and run this prompt. Let's see what we have. And boom, there it is. Start by washing 2 pounds of small red or Yukon Gold potatoes thoroughly. Boom. That, see right there, that is really cool. Because remember earlier when we went in and asked for the domain knowledge, it hasn't changed the potatoes. It's not small potatoes. Okay. This is actually really important. And now we have consistency throughout the chain, right? Because if you are wishy washy with the information or you don't have enough information within the context window, you could get deviations or variances in here as far as the results or the information coming back, right? This is wonderful. I love this. We have the reflection, we have the emotional push. Boom. We now have our video script. And now the next one, the next prompt is on you. You decide what you want to do next. Whatever format you want. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be some kind of, structured prompt. Now I am going to go ahead and put in here a storyboard prompt, a very big structure prompt, but have fun with it. Whatever you want to do next. You want to do multiple choice questions, make it yours. Go ahead and put that in right now. I'm going to go grab this prompt while you do that. So in my 250 prompts file, I'm going to go down and I'm going to look for a storyboard. I'm just searching for one. Boom, there it is, e-learning storyboard. This is a good one here. Check out this structured prompt. Again, do not have time to go over that with you, but I'm just going to copy that, bring it over here, put it in my chain, add my course outline here. All I'm going to do is, again, just paste how to cook a smoked potato salad. I could put the learning objectives in there if I want. I'm just going to keep it simple and run it. And now we're going to get a storyboard. There it goes. It's interesting. Every time I run this, I do try other models. And when I try this in, again, as of this recording, Anthropic Claude Opus, the text information within the storyboard seems to be deeper and richer than what I get in GPT-4 and even 4.0. But again, do you go back and forth in between models? Yeah, you should. Sure, you should. Test that. You should try that. But for some reason, I stick with GPT and try to modify it and get it to work in here. But if I can't get it to work, jump to another model and try it in something else. Okay, well, hopefully you enjoyed that chain. Let's go ahead and try another prompt chain. And this one is an email sequence. Now, email sequences can be used for marketing purposes. And in this case, we are going to promote a little barbecue class that's going to happen on the weekend, right? You got to learn how to make this smoked potato salad. So we're going to email our audience members about information on this barbecue class and everything associated with the requirements of, before you actually show up to class, right? Okay. Now I'm going to go back over to ChatGPT and let's go in and make a brand new chat. When you're doing deep work in a large language model, it's great to go ahead and chain, but once you're done with that task, if you're moving on to a new task, go in and create a brand new discussion, right? Now, one thing that's interesting though, is that, I have all these words lined up here that's within the context window. Could I continue prompt chaining those emails in here? Probably. I probably could do that. And it may even give me additional details. But for what we're doing here today, we're going to start a brand new conversation. So let's go ahead and do that. Got a brand new conversation. And now this sequence is inside of the 250 prompts site. I'm just going to go back over here close this, do a search for email here. And if you're wondering, this is built in Notion, which I absolutely love. Um, Here's class reminder emails. I pop that open, and there's my first prompt. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, get it into the clipboard, bring it back over to ChatGPT, and paste it in there. And let's try this together. Act as a course instructor. Look at that, all caps again. You'll notice that the all caps in here, I'm using these as what I call prompt variables. One, they're easy to read because they're in all caps. You're shouting at the model. And two, you remain consistent as you use these same words within your prompt chain. And when I first started prompting with Chat GPT, I would like call things different names. Just, I wasn't even paying attention. I'm like, I thought I was talking about the same thing, and I get really odd results. And what I found is if you're consistent with the naming of items all the way through, you get really tight consistency within the context window. All right, well, let's do this. So the course again is how to cook a smoked potato salad. The timing, we're going to go ahead and do this on Saturday. I can put date information in there, whatever I want, but it's this Saturday. If everybody wants to come over, I'll teach you how to make this smoked potato salad. And the pre-work is I want you to go ahead and watch 2 YouTube videos. Wow, I'm having one heck of a time today. On grill safety. Perfect. And then write an initial email to a student introducing the course with timing and pre-work. Look at that, those variables there. Course. Like I don't have to mention again how to cook a smoked potato salad down here. All I got to do is mention the prompt variable course with timing. There's my timing Saturday. And pre-work. Watch 2 YouTube videos. Right? So that's a prompt variable. Let's do it. Now, I don't have any, there's no tone of voice in here. It is using, though, the presets that I have in ChatGPT. Just to show you that real quick. When I go down to customize, like it is using my custom instructions, like it is turned on. So, there is some tone of voice in here that is me, the way I described it. All right, so then there's my first email. Again, I can change or massage this any way that I want. Hey, it looks great. I don't know what YouTube videos it's pointing to. It's probably just, I'm not even going to click on it because it's probably just a link that's not going to work. All right, well, I don't know. Let me try. Oh, it's just the self. It just is linking back to itself, the placeholder. All right, great. So now let's continue the effort and going back over to my prompt chain. Here's prompt number 2. Write a reminder email to a student with timing and pre-work. Again, I'm using my prompt variables in there. I'll paste that in, run it. And now we have the reminder email. Let's keep it rolling. The third one is write a final reminder email to a student. The course is tomorrow, so they're going to be getting this on Friday because the course is on Saturday. Yeah, course is happening tomorrow. I love it. And then, of course, after this wonderful experience that you have at my barbecue camp and making this potato salad, we have the follow-up email. There it is. Thank you. And we have post-course activities ready to rock. Some challenges with recipe variations. Oh, I love it. Stay connected. Sure. Social media. Pretty awesome. Well, hopefully You have seen the power of prompt chains here today. And I challenge you to go ahead and think about your workflows and what you do day in and day out, and what would be a powerful prompt chain. Remember, start with domain knowledge. This could even include uploading a PDF or some other document that has that information in there to supplement what you already put in the prompt by asking ChatGPT what it knows about that information. And then from there, you can go off to learning objectives and whatever your heart desires. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully, I will see you in the next episode. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.